Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope everything's well. So, did a video a little while ago, a couple months ago, during the whole coronavirus lockdown. Wife and I took the Starcraft out on some walleye jigging action. And then we really don't do a lot of boat videos. It's mostly just what we're doing around the farm. So, got a couple days off right now. Tomorrow we're planning a catfish trip in that boat. And I'm at my dad's farm right now because we don't have a pole barn yet. And over here my daughter was working with her horses, so I stopped over and she's like, let's go for a ride in the duck boat. And I thought, that's a great idea. And then I got thinking, we're in northern Ohio here. The last time the duck boat was in the water was a couple weeks before Christmas, right before we got froze out. But this is a 2017 Tracker Grizzly 1754 MVX. I bought this, actually my dad, my brother and I bought this as a completely bare haul and a trailer. That's it. We upgraded from my old duck boat. I bought a boat for, I don't know, like $500. Totally redid it, top to bottom, put a deck on it, everything, and sold just the boat and the trailer for over $2,000. So a little bit of elbow grease equity there. And then my dad wanted to start duck hunting again, and we needed something a little bigger. So we looked at a lot of boats. Where we are, it's just flooded marshes, rivers. We really don't, the marshes around here really aren't anything that we're jumping stumps or hitting rocks, or we don't hunt big timber up here. So I mean, I know a lot of the guys are dropping a ton of money on these Excels and everything like that. I know people hate on the trackers. We've had boats my whole life, and for what this is and what we use it for, I think it is it's well worth the money, and it's not a lot of money if you're going to go into that. But I'll walk you around, show you what we did, and kind of tell you what we use this boat for. So here it is. The boat is a 2017. The trailer, when I bought it, is actually a 2018 for some odd reason. Excuse me. And then the motor is also a 2018. So I didn't buy this from Bass Pro. I bought it from an actual independent tracker dealer who cut me a lot better deal than the local Bass Pro. I just had to drive a couple hours in the next state and grab it, which was well worth it for me. So up here on the front, like I said, we use this mostly as a duck hunting boat. There is a 12-inch LED with floods and beam. I get asked a lot about these right here. These things are great. These are called the Break by StickItAnchorPins.com. This is fully adjustable, mounted up here, and then I'll show you the anchor pins I use later. But in the marshes, we drop one down the front, one down the back, and this boat doesn't go anywhere. And I actually ended up cutting the anchor pins down a little bit because, I mean, we get this boat into, 20, 24 inches of water sometimes, so there's no need to have those pins sticking that high up in the ground. Like I said, when I bought this boat, it was a bare hull. The only thing it had was this seat base mount up here, and the one in the middle back there. We did everything else. It took us a little over a month of getting this thing the way we wanted it. But got a brake up front, LED light. I ran the wiring from the back up through the drain plug with a fish wire for my LED connections and for my red and green light. Also wired the plug for the Minn Kota Tarova, as you can see the pedal right there. Added this up front for some fishing situations we get this in. That's nice. Like I said, we use this boat mostly for duck hunting, and then in the spring, this is our shallow water river run walleye boat. Works good for that. These were here from the factory. These bolts here fit into the tracker system. You can see. This is where my blind sets on, and then I wrap electrical tape or zip ties around there, holds it on, pop the blind on and off real quick. As you can see, This is not hydro turf, this is sea deck. This is the third boat project I've used sea deck on. I love it. But this is the camo sea deck. I didn't do the main floor. Honestly, I didn't feel like tracing around everything. So main part up here is done, top of the cooler. These rubber rails on the side, these cushions. And then I did the back casting deck and sea deck. And I even did the top of the pods. If you guys don't have pods, they're amazing. These are beaver tail pods that I had welded on, and it's great. But back up here real quick. Let me show you up front here. Alright. So right here, we added this 4 rod holder vertical. It's nice, especially when we for the spring walleye run, goes there. I added another one here. We usually put a net in here, and then between Kiddo's legs here, move your leg, Kiddo. No, pick it up. Right there is the plug. There is a Pro Mariner dual bank charger on the inside wall here, and that thing's been great. And as you can see right there, there's dual batteries for the Minn Kota Edge 65. Back to the anchor pins. These are super stick pins. Turn this around here. Super stick, superstick.com. I really like these ones. They cut them down, they're solid, and they have a nice tip on the end. Come with the brackets. And then I get questions on these. You don't see these a whole lot on boats this size. These are 12-inch track systems. You guys are familiar with the walleye boats, salmon boats, trolling, down rigging, stuff like that. These are a track system, and you can put anything in here from cup holders, single rod holders, dual, triple rod holders. I even have trees, so I can hold 4 rods aside from the walleye boat that will fit in here. And they even make tool holders that go in here, GPS mounts. But this is great because sometimes I like trolling out of this boat. I know it sounds crazy when there's a dedicated walleye boat here, but I love this boat right here. So that's that. Had some extra sea deck, so I filled in this part here. The first couple years we didn't use these. We just used the kind of 3-legged ground blind stands. Yeah, turkey chairs, but you're sitting pretty low and they got to be uncomfortable. So I added those last year, and it's nice that these trackers have a flat floor and pretty thick aluminum floor there. So we can hunt 1 person, 2 person. This chair turns and it's a blind, has an opening right above it. So we just hunt 3, and then sometimes if Kiddo goes or my brother's fiance goes, she likes to take photos, we'll set her up there so she sticks out of the blind a little bit and gets some really good photos. Like I said before, that was the only seat mount that came to it. We added these 2. And people are like, well, don't you wish with a tiller that you would have those seats spread out a little bit farther? And the long answer, or the short answer to that is yes. When I first got this boat, we had a 30-horse Evinrude on it, and then we upgraded to a max horsepower of a 50 on this, and the tiller handles a lot longer, but we never really run into a problem, especially fishing. We're not really making tight turns, but it's still easy to maneuver. Back here, Scepter fuel tank, the engine crank battery and electronics battery is there. That is bolted to the ground, or to the floor of the boat, so that battery box doesn't go anywhere. And here's the other brake. As you can see, this one's mounted on an angle and still going straight down on the ground. These things are amazing. I know people think they're expensive for what they are, but they're made out of kind of a similar polymer to some of your plastic polymer handguns out there, reinforced resin, whatever you want to call them. But these things are absolutely fantastic. When we went to the bigger motor, we added this Pro High Jacker Z-Lock jack plate, and I went with a manual for the only reason that right before we go out tonight, I'll drop this down all the way to get me some bite in the water, and then when the fall comes around and we start duck hunting, I run it up 3 inches, and we can get a lot shallower in the marsh. I debated buying a mud motor with this, but the little that we use this in the marshes compared to in the rivers and the lakes, except for this year, kind of everything's been backwards because of COVID. But this boat spends 90% of the time in the rivers and lakes and 10% of the time in the duck marsh. So for us, it was a better investment. And some guys ask how you mount a transducer with pods. That's the Garmin. It's for the Eco Map. I've had this boat where we were breaking water, almost didn't get back to the dock, to the ramp I should say, and totally forgot this was back here. It really wasn't my priority. I didn't want to get frozen in the marsh and freeze, but we never broke that off and never even had to adjust it. And like I said, these are the beaver tail pods. Cut the sea deck on them, and this is how we get in and out of the boat when we're duck hunting most of the time. Over here you can see a battery box, and we do have a bilge pump in here. My dad made a bracket for that bilge pump, and then the bilge pump runs up and the fittings right there. Just if you do hunt with a dog jumping in and out of the boat, you're getting a lot of water in there. It's nice to hit that bilge pump. I do not have an automatic switch in here. This has never stayed in the water overnight, but it's probably a good idea to get one of those. Here we have the anchor light. All that's wired up in here. And the motor's obviously electric start, electric tilt and trim. And you can see there, I jack it up 3 inches for marsh, and then move this line down to here for the rest of the year. Early spring, I will leave it jacked up high just to get into some of the really rocky bottom rivers where the walleye are running. So back around here, this is a Garmin Eco Map. Maybe if I can get that off. Eco Map CV. It's like a 3-year-old unit. I was going to replace it with something a little bigger, but honestly, we don't even use it for a fish finder, just for navigating the marshes. Here is the other stick it pin, or I should say super stick pin for the front. You got 1 point in front, 1 point in back. And then down here, this was kind of the biggest pain of this whole build, is these are all filled with foam. And so we cut this area out for the switch panel and had to hollow it out with foam and big drill bits to get the wires up there. If I was going to do it again, I might move it over to the middle, because especially with my big bulky waders on, I do kind of trip some of the switches sometimes. But we got anchor light, navigation light, the LED spotlight in the front, bilge pump, cockpit lights, and GPS. And cockpit lights, I don't know if you can see them. Let's zoom in a little bit. We do have LEDs going all around the inside of this boat. When the duck blind is on, we also run a beaver tail duck blind. You know, folds up when you're cooking breakfast at 3 or 4 in the morning. Those are real nice to have. Got another Burt's 12-inch track over here. And then for seating, especially in the summer, this Arctic 20, Yeti, whatever you guys have. I mounted this here, and this works great as a seat. Really balances the boat. And then in the winter, we actually, when we're duck hunting, we use this as a dry box. It's probably the driest part on the boat for electronics, cell phones, such like that. And that's about it, guys. But like I said, it doesn't look like a lot of work, but when we bought this boat, it was just the hull and the trailer. I bought the Evinrude after, had my dealer, Burroughs Marine. They hook us up, as you can see. Big fan of Evinrudes. I know guys hate on them, especially now that they're kind of defunct, but they've never given me one issue, especially up here when it's super cold. I have noticed some guys getting stranded in the duck marshes with other brands of motors, just because of the fact that I don't know, they don't want to start. But yep, no problems with the Evinrudes. So that's the boat. And then Kenzie, you want to open that box? No, just the lid, just the lid. Pull up. In that lid in there, we keep first aid kit. No, look at first aid kit, ammo boxes. There's a stove in there, extra propane tanks, extra butane tanks for the stove. All our lines, like I said, emergency kit. So up here, there's 2 anchors in there, 2 paddles, and I said before, there is the Charger. So it was a fun build, and my dad's standing right there, so I probably shouldn't say this, but this boat is my favorite out of all the boats we ever had. I don't know why. I love this little John boat. The walleye boat is a beast, and that thing's a ton of fun, but there's something about zipping around on a little tiller boat that is a blast. So let me walk you over to the big boat, show you the rails we got on there, and kind of give you an idea of what rod holders and stuff we use on this boat. So if you guys unfamiliar with the walleye trolling and such, that is a trolling tree. It mounts in this bracket, this track here, and then it'll turn to the back, and then it's spring loaded. You can pick it up, turn it 90 degrees, so your 3 fingers are sticking out the side. This is what you run your planer board rods off of, and then the spot on the top, you can run another rod, an extra rod, or a net. And on the Starcraft, there's 4 sections on this boat of 24-inch track, 2 on each side, and then in the front there's a 6-inch. We kind of only use this one for catfishing. And when I mounted that one, I really wasn't that smart. We bought these at a winter show, these 2 front ones, after I bought the other ones. I mounted them while the trolling motor was off the boat, so no big deal. But if we have individual rod holders on there, and then you got to take them off before you pull the trolling motor back up, but they're quick attach rod holders, so it's not that big of a deal. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Short video, but after 3 years of owning this boat, I have 0 complaints on this Tracker. I've hunted northern Michigan with some guys that are running War Eagles. I've hunted out of Lowe's. I've hunted out of Lund boats. And I know Tracker doesn't have the best reputation, but we have literally beat the piss out of this boat. We have hit logs that we didn't know were there. Like I said, we've broken ice that I was honestly the first time I've ever been scared on the water we weren't going to make it back. And don't even have any dents in it. So it's a good boat. Yeah, it's not even any dents in it. So I'm impressed with that. But all welded John boat, you can't go wrong for the price, guys. But it is a lot of work to rig one of these up. And like I said, the hardest part was right here's the hole going straight through to that down there. That was kind of a pain. And then running the wire through the cross bracing to get all the way up to the front to run the lights for or the power I should say, for the front nav lights, the LED light, and the trolling motor was kind of a pain. But have any questions, hit me up, guys. And we're gonna get ready to take this out for a little cruise tonight, and then tomorrow and the next day we got some trips planned with that boat. Take it easy, everybody. Hope you have fun. Be safe. Hey, you having fun?
She will when you get her a lily pad.
Yeah, she just wants a lily pad. What's that? I'll go get you one.
They were down here at a
Hey,
party.
what are you doing?
I was on a
You catch a fish?
swing.
Are you noodling?
They kept going and
This is the mouth of the Sandusky River where it hooks into the Sandusky Bay out there, and then after that is Cedar Point and Lake Erie. We like to come out here and look at eagles. This used to all be farmland. They used to send tractors over on barges, and then over the time, waters just eroded everything away. Zoom in here. There's usually a bunch of eagles in there. There's 3 eagles out there right now, 1, 2, and 3, but it's hard to see from the screen there. So we're gonna turn around, boat's running good, go back, go up the river. Someone wants a lily pad. Oh, Jimmy Buckets is closed today. The best kept secret in Northwest Ohio. And we still didn't lose a lily pad, so we're winning.